All right. Darren here from Lucky Strike Gold in Geelong. And look who I've got with me tonight.
Brad from Minelab.
Brad
How is everyone?
Yeah. So very privileged to have Brad over here on WA on one of the prospecting tours. So
yeah, thank you for having me. It's been good. It's been good.
Okay. Leanne's not with us tonight. She's actually in bed, hasn't got out of bed all day, just crook as a dog. My voice isn't the best, so we'll see how far we get into tonight.
Especially with this cold air.
Oh, yeah, tell me about it. I'm rugged up. I've got the Minelab beanie on anyway. Thanks for that.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, what do we got on tonight? Go back a page if it's going to work. It's not. There's always a problem. No. I'll try this. Here we go. All right, gold price. Well, that's quite interesting because last week it was 166.61, and today it's 166. So it's only dropped 60 cents. Now I would have thought that it would have skyrocketed with the war that's going on overseas and that. Anyone who's been living out the bush probably doesn't know, but yeah, Trump bombed the Iran sites, the nuclear sites, and then I believe there was a ceasefire, which was calculated, I'd say. Yeah. And I believe it's back on now. That right, Peter? Yeah. So watch the space on the gold price, and I suppose we'll see what happens. Yeah. You would think it's going to go up when there's talks of war and that, but sometimes the gold does some silly things.
Absolutely.
Okay, wow. In the newsletter that we do each week, look, if you don't get our newsletter each week, sign up to it, because we've got some great stories in there. We don't put them all up on tonight's show, but some of them we do, and this one's well worth it. A customer found 12.6 ounces in a week in Western Australia.
It's not a bad pay week.
Yeah, 12.6 ounces. What's that? That's over $60,000 for a week.
Just in gold price,
yeah, just in gold price.
Yeah.
And you got, 24 ounces for the month. Wow.
Yeah, you wouldn't say no to that.
Yeah. I wonder what machine it was found with. Do we know or not? No, I think. Yeah. More information to come. Yeah. You're definitely a Minelab detector, though.
Absolutely. Only the best. Only the best. But yeah, I mean, that sort of stuff can happen, right? In Western Australia, you can either make you or break you.
Yep. Today, we had one customer get 9 bits, was it?
Yeah, nine bits today.
9 pieces. Yep. Nice little bits. So
a few people found 4, 5.
Yeah. No.
So no, it was a good day today.
Good day. Yeah. Weather was perfect. A little bit cold at night time.
Yeah, last night was fresh.
It was fresh.
We had to knock the ice off everything this morning.
Brad gave us Minelab beanies last night, and I actually slept with mine on.
I think there was a few of us that did. I tried to brave it in the middle of the night. I got up and threw mine on.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Some news. There is a new 13x9 coil coming out from Nugget Finder, and it's to replace the 12x8 Evos and the 14x9, and it's similar performance to the 12x8. So I think it's going to be a good coil, good all-rounder.
Yeah.
It is spiral wound, spiral flat wound. So if anyone's asking what type of winding's in it, and it only weighs 820 grams. So
it's not bad for a big coil.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah.
13x9. That's a nice general purpose coil too.
It is.
Good for patch hunting and good for just general
sensitivity. A little bit of or punch down. Thanks, Rowan, for bringing that one out.
Yeah, nice looking coil too.
It is a good looking coil. Okay, the tip. It's a bit hard to read from here, but it says something like early morning or late afternoon, just before the sun comes up or down. You can sort of look across the paddocks or areas that have been pushed, and you can see the indentations where miners have looked, or you might even see where there's rows where there's been old pushing, especially over here. You'll be driving along, you look out to your right or to your left, and you can see old scrapings. in some areas at the moment over on these claims, it's a little bit hard because the grass is
surprising.
That high, so
Yeah.
it's a little bit hard to pick some of the.
Yeah, this sort of thing would certainly help. This works for night time too. When you got a headlamp on, headlamp does exactly the same at night.
Okay.
When it's throwing light, it throws a shadow.
Yep.
And always helps you sort of identify open shafts and stuff like that as well.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Or them deep shafts. If you got your headlight on, you don't want to go down.
Yeah, definitely not.
Okay. Prospecting tour availabilities. Well, I can tell you all the 7-day ones, tag-along tours are booked out. We haven't had any cancellations. The only vacancies we have is on the Victorian boot camps. The 2-dayer is at Inglewood on the 20th of September. The 3-dayer is at Moonanbell on the 18th of October. Another 2-dayer in Maryborough and a 5-dayer in Talbot. What would be your favourite spot there, Brad? I reckon I know what it would be.
Yeah, for me, it's probably between the top two, but mainly Moonanbell. Moonanbell is one of my favourite areas. So Inglewood, Inglewood's an area that I've been recently sort of looking at. But Moonanbell, Red Bank area is definitely my go-to.
I know you've been doing a lot of research on both of them areas.
Yeah.
Research is key.
Yes,
it really
absolutely.
is. Yeah.
80% research, 20% prospecting is what I say.
Yeah. And then some people say 20% luck, but I tend to, you got to make your own luck.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Okay. Don't forget to scan the QR code there for the $50 competition. Like I said, send in your what gold you found, what relics you found, anything interesting out the bush, and we'll have a look at it.
Yeah, it's always nice to share. It's always nice to see what others have found, and it makes newbies excited to actually get involved as well. So
makes me excited. Gets me excited.
Absolutely.
Okay. The Minelab detector sales are ending next Monday. Is that correct?
Yep.
So look, everybody already knows, but there's $1,000 off the GPX 6000. $1,000 off the 7000. The Equinox 900, you get the free 15-inch coil and the Profine 40.
Yep. So that means with the Equinox 900, you automatically get all three coils.
Yeah,
So you've got everything covered.
The Manticore, great machine. You get the M8 with it, and the pinpointer with it.
And the Profine 40. Yep.
And the SDC, what a deal this one is. You buy the SDC and you get a Gold Monster 1000. That's a saving of nearly $1,400.
Yeah, and it's quite a good bundle, that one. If you've got yourself and a mate, or yourself and your partner that want to get involved, and you've only got to purchase the one detector and you get the second one for free. So it's a good one.
Yeah. And look, if you purchase the 2300 off us and you get the free Gold Monster, the two people can come along and we'll do training on that.
Nice.
There's not many that actually do the training on the Gold Monsters, and I've always said the Gold Monster is a good machine, but you need to know how to use it.
Yep. How and where.
How and where exactly.
Yep.
What type of ground to pick.
Yeah. They've been quite successful, these, for the last few. Well, especially the 6,000 and 7,000, $1,000 off. It's been good. Yeah,
and like with our detectors, our training, we offer a full day's training. Because you can't learn much in 3 hours.
No. There's no point having the best tech in your hands if you don't know how to use it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's free. Your training's free.
It's free. So why not?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Before we get into the questions, I just want to ask Brad some questions, I suppose. What's your view, Brad, I suppose, on aftermarket accessories?
Yeah, so Minelab work with two aftermarket coil companies. We work with obviously Nugget Finder and Coil Tech. So we don't just team up with them for shits and giggles, pardon the pun, but we spend a lot of time working with Nugget Finder and Coil Tech in really honing in on the quality of the product. So we don't just throw a Minelab approved badge on everything. We put it through our testing. We make sure that the build quality is right. and we throw it on all of our machines, our knock machines, our swing machines. They go through thousands and thousands of hours just on swing machines and being knocked about. So we've heard of cases of Minelab non-approved coils and accessories where people have come to places like Western Australia and they've plugged their coil in and they've used it for a couple of days and it all's been fine, and then all of a sudden something shorts out in a plug or in a winding and you end up blowing your boards or something inside the metal detector and it voids your warranty. So that actually gives us the ability then when we get those metal detectors back, we can see what's happened. So that's how we know that they have caused issues in the past. So Minelab approved. Anything that's got that Minelab approved sticker on it is all okay.
Yeah, and I know there's other bits and pieces and charges and that out there. Like I don't understand why people are going to spend, $9,000, say $10,000 on a quality built detector and then try and skim $20 on something else.
Absolutely. So even all of our chargers, our cables, headphones, all that stuff, we put through its paces before we put them in the boxes. We don't just buy a Chinese branded product and throw it in the box and hope it works. We make sure everything's tested and is actually suited for our product, because like you said, there's nothing worse than dropping $9,000 or $10,000 on a detector or to find out that something's gone wrong because of a $20 charger.
And you hear of people buying a charger, they're plugging something in and it's the wrong amperage or that, or it's spiked or something, and it's stuffed then, isn't it?
Exactly. You don't see other companies like race car drivers. You don't see them spending $250,000 on a race car and throwing $100 tyres on it. They just don't do that. So you have to get the right products to suit that have been tested by the manufacturer.
When we come over here, because we've got a food van set up and that, I had to buy a decent generator, and I've bought generators before and they've claimed that it's the same as a well-known brand, and you get over here and it doesn't work, so I went out and bought the best, and it doesn't miss a beat.
And it's a long way to come for it to not work.
I'd have a lot of angry customers if it didn't work.
Yeah, absolutely, especially the food here. It's been bloody amazing.
No, good. And I was thinking of a case. I remember when the 7000s come out, people were chopping the plugs off to try and get the advantage, getting other coils and that. And I heard of 6 7000s in the Kalgoorlie area that blew up because of that reason.
We specifically make those to suit the coils, and when you start chopping them and throwing them on other coils or other accessories, it can short out, and it doesn't just short the coil out, it shorts out the boards. And I think to replace boards in a GPZ 7000 is something like $5,500–6,000.
Wow.
So it's
a dear mistake.
A very dear mistake. And when you've travelled somewhere from, let's say, the East Coast over here for a 4-week, 6-week prospecting trip, it's a cost you don't really want to. Cost you don't really want to have.
I done a talk one night on modded things and that, and it's not. I think people are trying to get the edge over their mates and that, but generally it's not that. It's the operator.
Operator, absolutely. And we've seen that here. We've got a lot of newbies, and when you're going low and slow, and you can be new, you can be experienced. If you're not detecting properly, or using the correct gear, then you're starting to miss gold. But these guys have done really well. So,
they have. When I picked the group up, I said to them, how much experience have you got? And some are saying none. I said, well, that's good, because you won't have any habits,
any bad
habits. So it's good to get and teach people the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's about.
Yeah. So what got you into detecting, Brad?
So for me, I started, would have been 6 or 7 years ago now. I used to fish, so I was very active in tournament fishing, and I was sponsored by some large corporate brands and bits and pieces, and I just wanted something I just wanted to change. So sort of treasure hunting's always been one of those things for me where as a kid, I was always out in a creek system, or I was always playing around in the backyard hiding things and trying to find them. So I sort of I'd been looking for a while, and my first detector I looked at actually was an SD 2200.
Oh yeah.
And at that time I didn't buy one. I went, I'm going to stick with going out in the boat and fishing. I had too many hobbies. Money wasn't easy back then, and so 6 years ago I sort of bit the bullet and went out and bought an Equinox 600. That was my first metal detector actually, and started hitting the corn and treasure, and I got the bug. I got the bug bad. So I convinced the wife to let me buy a GPX 4500.
Okay.
And use that for a while, and then of course the GPZ 7000 got me. So I done the thing I never thought I would do, and sold my boat.
Oh wow.
Sold my fishing gear and went out and bought a GPZ 7000, and here I am today working for Minelab.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
gold fever is real.
And I can tell you've got the fever.
I've got the fever. Yeah. I spend if I'm not at work talking metal detectors, I'm at home researching or talking to you on the phone, or I'm constantly trying to better myself really.
Yeah. And look, it's good to have someone like yourself in Minelab that's also a prospector, die-hard prospector. You can see both sides, I suppose.
It
understand.
It really helps us bridge the consumer point of view as well as the manufacturer's point of view. So, I don't just walk out at 5 o'clock and close the door and forget about metal detecting. It's in my blood. So, I love it. I love it. Very, very, very privileged. But today we've been pretty lucky.
Yeah, we have.
I brought over with us the Gold Monster 2000.
Yeah, I'm very privileged to even see it and have a go at it. I took Brad to a spot. It's only a little spot. Took him there. I don't even reckon we were swinging on the ground for 10 minutes.
No.
And you got two bits.
Two bits within, easily, and we found them quite easly. And that area you said has been hit with.
It's been hit with all machines, even 6000s, all the 2300s. Who knows what before that? But only a little area. But it's one of them areas where there's just a little bit of rubbish around.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people won't persist in them type of areas, and that's where that's going to be dynamite.
Yeah, especially when you've got your 3 discrimination points. You've got your indicator on the top, you've got your target IDs, and then you've got your echo wave audio as well. So, and you heard the echo wave today. It really pops that gold. And those target IDs help. There was a few things that you could swing over, and it was throwing it over to trash, and of course you always check. And it's trash, and then the gold, well, it really pops. So
it popped.
We've been pretty lucky, and I guess this is one of those things also where we don't just manufacture a metal detector and put it out there and hope it works. We come to places like this and try and we actually put it through its paces to make sure that it can do what we say it does. So.
And with the iron and that was coming into the left and certain numbers, and not to dig them targets.
Yeah, that's right.
It hasn't told a lie yet.
No.
It's very impressed.
Very exactly. It looked after us today quite well, and I'm looking forward to trying it out in some other areas. And it even handled the mineralisation.
It did
well.
Very well. And that was an area that if I'd taken a picture of it, it was just ironstone everywhere. And
it was
even the bottom where the old timers had sort of dry blown, because there was all little dry blows there. But that was an ironstone bottom too. So it handled it really well.
Yeah, it was an amazing place. Even myself, I get to travel around a lot and see a lot of sort of unique gold fields and stuff like that. And that place today was really special. So looking forward to getting back there.
I'm excited.
So it's nice to have it. It's nice to have it over here and
test it and put it through its paces and that. But we're only there 10 minutes because
we have we're out there for a look, and we just thought while we're there we'll have a quick swing and
bang bang
bang bang
bang and there. I don't think we dug any targets. Oh,
I've got them here.
Okay.
So nice bits of
Now,
gold.
one bit was, what was one bit, you reckon? What size? Probably 0.2?
Yeah,
mate?
probably a 0.2. That was a small one, and then we
That
got
was down probably, what about that depth?
Yeah,
Probably
3
3
4
inches.
Yep, and then we got the ironstone specie.
And the ironstone specie, which
Yeah.
very rough coarse bit. Yeah,
Yeah, that was a nice little piece. So
yeah, no, good.
yeah, that was good.
So yeah, I'm very privileged to be using a Gold Monster 2000 over here.
Yeah. Let's have some fun over the next over the next week for sure.
Okay, we'll go into the questions now.
Just one more thing I just want to mention.
Yeah.
We have Lucky Phil here with us too. So
Oh,
Phil
Phil.
Phil's the winner of our Minelab Gold experience. So we're just going to get him to say a quick hello if he can.
This is Phil.
This is
Hey guys,
Phil.
I'll just use your microphone for a minute. You can leave it on.
Oh, yeah.
So for those that don't know, Minelab a few months ago gave away an experience in Western Australia. You purchased any Minelab metal detector and you went into the running to win a 7-day sort of prospecting tour here over here in Western Australia with
Golden Relics.
With Golden Relics, and Phil was the lucky guy.
Yeah.
How have you found it, Phil? Good so far?
It's been awesome. Like, I was shocked when I got a phone call from a guy named Brad from Minelab. I'm like, and then the memory chipped in. Hang on, I think I did enter a competition, and yeah, but it's since then I've been just really excited about this trip and really keen just to get away and hang out with some seasoned prospectors and professionals and great people. And I did find on the first day, I did actually find some gold, which I was really stoked about. I was shocked. I didn't think it was like a big piece of quartz.
Yeah.
And it had a big target.
It did.
And sound and
Look, it's probably got, I'd say, 1.5, 2 grams probably in it.
Beautiful piece.
Yeah, nice piece.
Beautiful piece.
Yeah.
Nice trophy piece.
yeah, it's the first time I've touched the GPX 6000 as well. So,
Yeah.
And it was just really easy to still get my head around, but it was really easy to use.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun the next couple of days, mate.
Yeah. Yes. So keen to.
Yeah.
Hopefully tomorrow we get you out on the Gold Monster and you can have a swing of that.
I would love to have a go at that.
See
for sure.
what it's like.
Proper go at it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty exciting, the technology.
So we've given him the name Lucky Phil.
Lucky
haven't we?
Phil,
Lucky
absolutely.
Phil.
Lucky Phil.
Okay. Oh, thanks. Yeah.
No, beauty.
Good you're enjoying the trip.
Yeah, thank
so
you so
far.
much. And
Yeah.
I'd just like to thank Minelab for the opportunity and putting on such a fantastic competition. And I'd like to thank Lucky Strike Gold and Golden Relics as well. The tour group.
Thank you.
And thanks to Darren and Leanne. And they're a really great, down-to-earth bunch of people. And I just encourage you guys, if you have any questions, get in touch with these guys and they'll put you on the right track for sure.
Yeah,
So,
beauty.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Phil.
Let's go.
Ta, mate.
Very good. And I didn't pay him anything to say that.
No, that was nice.
Yeah, very nice of
Yeah.
him. Okay.
Question time.
Question time. All these prospectors out there about with detectors, does the gold replenish at all? And I just can't get my head around where it all keeps coming from. Gold actually does grow, but it takes millions and millions of years. So I don't think we'll be around, but it's with erosion, creeks washing away, dirt washing away.
Yep.
But technology improves. Like this is going to open up the doors in the right areas.
Exactly. So we don't bring out a metal detector that's worse than the previous one. So the technology, we're always trying to push that envelope with different technology and not even just in control boxes, but even coil technology. So that always helps unlock more and more gold, and we've seen it today with the Gold Monster 2000. So,
and I remember when the 6 come out, I come over to WA and I went to one of my old patches, and look, I'd been over it. I reckon I'd been over every inch.
Yep.
But cut a long story short, I went over with the 6000, and I got another 120 pieces off it.
wow.
So that's new technology.
New technology.
Yeah. So,
absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah, and again, you can't cover every inch of ground either. So you have to walk over it to find it.
Yeah. And someone says here, surely with the times gone by a new technology, the gold in Victoria goldfields, Kimberley, must be getting very low. No, well, like you just said, Brad, new technology,
Yep.
it opens up different windows, depth, sensitivity,
Yep, frequencies, all that
frequencies,
stuff. Yep.
you know. This
Handles
is,
ground better.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've only got to be that far off a nugget and you've missed
And
it.
you've missed it. That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you know, even things like wind. You know, you can be swinging a coil and that wind blows through your headphones and you miss that low tone and
Yep.
that nugget's gone from you
Yep.
forever because
Yep.
you're not going to go back over that same ground again. But
Yep.
someone else comes along and all of a sudden there's more and more gold there. So
Or you zig when you should have zagged, you know. And
done that a few times.
I've been telling the group, when you're detecting, it's just imagine you've got a 2-inch paintbrush in your hand.
Yep.
And you're covering all that ground. If you zig and zag, you're going to miss it with the paintbrush.
Yep.
Or you're going to miss the gold with the detector.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's not a race.
No.
You know, I know of people that will spend a day covering, you know, 20, 30 square metres because they don't want to miss an inch of that ground because they
Yeah.
want to find every bit of gold.
Yeah.
And then you see some people, you know, they're swinging like madmen and you know they're walking over gold.
Yeah.
So yeah, all that sort of stuff.
So they say, my intent is to purchase a 6,000 after the financial year, but they're concerned, that all the gold's going to be gone. No. It just keeps coming and coming and coming.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
The only real place that you do get it replenished is on the beaches.
Yeah,
You
true.
do, you know,
You
I mean,
do.
you can't take a 6,000. Well, we don't recommend taking 6,000 on a beach. You don't want to
Yep.
risk taking a $9,000 detector on a beach. But
No.
every summer, you know, people go on a beach and they drop gold rings and necklaces, and
Yep.
so that's really the only place where gold's going to be replenished. But yeah, out here in the gold fields.
You wonder how people lose wedding rings and that, but I've actually lost 3, but that's another story.
Yeah, I lost mine when I first had my 4500. Actually, I went out to Mount Crawford and
Yeah.
I was swinging and I got back in the car and I went, where's my ring going?
shit.
And I went, oh no, I'm gonna have to tell the wife I've lost
Yeah,
my ring.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
first trip out, not good. And I went back actually and followed the holes that I dug,
Yeah.
and it had fallen off in the first hole. I'd covered it over, so I recovered it. I was lucky.
You're
Don't
lucky.
worry.
Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And one more point on this too is, and you and I were talking about it today. Actually, it's not everyone shares all the gold they find.
No.
So you know what you see online is only a pinch of what actually gets found out there.
Yeah.
You know, and you got big mining companies that are
Yep.
that are cleaning up, you know, tons and tons of gold every year that you just don't hear about. So
Yeah.
gold's not going anywhere. It's not running out anytime soon.
I started early days 1980, and I know a lot of full-time prospectors here in Victoria,
Yep.
and they're not on Facebook sharing. They don't want people to know.
No.
I was telling you the story today. I know a bloke that found a 600-ounce piece. It was like a little small football, you know.
You wouldn't be handballing that away, would you?
No, but you know, I saw photos of it. But yeah,
That's
you know,
the dream.
That's the dream. That's
Yep.
the dream.
Yeah. But
One-
yeah, I mean, if your intent is to buy a 6,000, if you can, try and squeeze it in before the end of the promotion.
Yep.
You're saving yourself $1,000.
$1,000. Yeah.
So
And we'll take you out for a day's training.
yeah, show you how to drive your Ferrari.
That's it. Okay. Any questions? Okay. How much diesel should we carry on the tag-along tours? Okay, the ones that are coming on the tag-along tours, I'll just say to play it safe, probably 40 litres would be enough. Yeah, the Walloona one, you might want to carry a little bit more, but we won't be doing a lot of driving at the Walloona one. Once we're there, we're sort of there. But some of the other ones, the Kalgoorlie one, the Murrin one, and the Mika one, we may be doing a little bit of driving, but there is fuel places in towns in some of them.
Yep.
Mika can be hit or miss. I've actually gone there to get fuel, and I'm sorry, it's not coming in till tomorrow. So
It's a long night in the car, mate.
it is, especially these nights. It's
Yeah,
a bit cold.
absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, look, probably 40 litres is adequate. But
Yep.
then it depends if your tank only holds 60 litres, you know.
You might want to pack a bit more.
Pack a bit more.
Yep.
As I've only detected, how hard is it to find places? Someone's just asking a question that they've only detected in Victoria. How hard is it to find places to detect in WA? Jason, look, there is a lot of pending land over here at the moment. Pending land is land that one company may have sold it to another company. It's in limbo land, so no one owns it and you're allowed on there. But some pending land could be in the middle of a salt lake too. So this is, like you said, research.
Yep.
You've got to do your research on where you're going. And I've heard a lot of blokes think, oh, they're going to make a fortune over here. They jump in the car, come over here, don't know where they're going, can't find any gold and go home.
Yeah. Probably the biggest thing that I've noticed over here is, you can drive through places through Victoria, and the old timers have done the hard work for you.
Yeah.
They've left you clues. There's shallow diggings everywhere, and you can see where gold has been found previously. Out here, you can drive and everything looks the same.
Yeah.
You know, it's but what you said before is research.
Yeah.
You know, it's and you've got it at, you can access research now in the palm of your hand. You don't have to come over here and spend days looking at ground and trying to figure out where to go. You've got access to soil reports and mining information and historical gold finds and stuff like that. So research is definitely key.
I suppose if you're an old person like me and not into the tech savvy things, you've got books, you've got the Golden Ghost books, you've got the Doug Stone books, and to look up things like that. At least it puts you in the general area.
Yep.
But just make sure that you're allowed on them leases, because it's completely different over here to back home. Completely different.
And make sure you've got your miners right.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
the gold police will get you.
They will. They will. That's another story.
Yeah.
Pete, someone's asked you a question. How is the 17-inch coil going over here?
Yeah, really good.
You haven't been out that much, have you, with it?
I've been out a couple of days with it.
Yeah.
And I've found some gold with it.
Okay.
It's really good for finding new ground and exploring new ground.
Yeah.
Because of the size of the coil.
Yeah. If people can't hear Pete, he's over there. He said it's really good for exploring ground, I suppose, for finding patches.
Yep.
Because you're covering probably twice as much ground per swing as the standard coil. And they're still quite sensitive, so, but you're just covering more ground. So, and he has found gold with it. So, whoever's asked the question, is there a release date for the Gold Monster 2000?
So there is. So we're aiming towards October. So we don't always give a firm, October 2nd, 3rd, 4th. We say October, and that's where we're aiming at. It could be a little bit earlier. It'd be nice to get it a little bit earlier, but one thing you notice that we don't do is release detectors and then do 30, 40 software updates. We make sure that the metal detector is ready to go. And it doesn't need to be constantly updated to fix bugs and stuff. So we spend a lot of time now. As you can see, they are built. Well, there are some built. We spend our time now making sure we iron out all those bugs. So October's the date that we're aiming for.
October the 30th would be good. That's my birthday.
October 1st would be even better. That's mine. So somewhere in the middle, October 16th, that's the wife's birthday. So there we go.
Okay. What's this? Is there a waiting list for the GPX 6000s, or can I just get one? Just ring up the shop, guys. Lucky Strike Gold in Geelong. Look, if we haven't got them in stock, what's that? Yeah, we've got lots. Yeah, we've got lots. So just ring up the shop. Buy one in there, and when I'm back from the west, we'll take you out for the day and show you how to use it. So
beautiful. Drones. This is a good one actually. We've been playing around with it today actually.
We have.
Drones are great for going over land with permission finding digging. So we've actually had our drone up today a few times. I find it very handy to scout land, especially in places like Vic too, where you don't want to be walking over those hills to get somewhere and the maps are wrong or your research is wrong and there's no old timers digging. So it's nice to be able to throw your drone up. You can turn off your sensors and you can fly it through the trees if you really want to take that risk. I like to go up and over and then sort of shoot the camera down. But yeah, and even places over here, you know, it's been handy over here to find little reefs and rocky outcrops and that sort of stuff.
I had someone show me today how the sensors work, and they missed the tree just as well.
Just as well.
Didn't have the
I
sensors
had the sensors turned off, and I tried to do the old, oh yeah, it'll miss the tree, and smacked it straight at the tree, and then oh no, and had to quickly pull it to the left to get around the tree. So
that would be me. Okay, I found my cousin's wedding ring on their acreage property in Swan Bay Farm with my SDC, as they lost it in the feeding cows.
Oh wow, nice work.
Good one.
Yeah,
good
that's a pretty good effort, especially on farmland. There'd be a fair bit of rubbish.
There would be
in the
farms,
ground there, and especially being where they're feeding the cows, there's going to be wet ground as well. So we've done well to find that.
Like I get a lot of farmers saying, "Oh, I've lost something out in my paddock. Can you come and find it for me? It's a special bolt. You know, it's worth a couple of $100." I say, "Is there any rubbish in the paddock?" "Oh no, there's none." You get out there,
boom,
rubbish everywhere. I generally find it for them. So yeah.
So
Okay.
I can get these too if you like. So any news on the Coiltech Nugget Finder coils coming in for the GPX 6000? So there are a few coils coming from Coiltech. They are making them. I'll answer this from the Minelab point of view, just to give people a bit of a background on what's happening from us.
Yeah.
So we're having problems keeping up with supply of building new machines, where the want for the 6000 has been astronomical.
Oh, it has. It's incredible.
And you know, where if we were to stop production just to make cables for coils, people wouldn't be getting machines. So our main focus is actually producing the machines, and then when we sort of catch up with demand, then we can do a run of coil cables. So we're just getting hammered at the moment with new machines going out the door. So it's not a bad problem to have, really.
Yeah.
But you guys for the shop, any coils coming?
Look, I've been out of it for a few weeks, and Leanne does all the ordering.
Poor bugger.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah, hopefully. She's just crook as a dog at the moment. But do you want to answer this one?
Yeah, and then this one here. So is Minelab going to bring out any better coils for the 6000? So one of the things that we focus on is building metal detectors. So if we were to drag our engineers away from actually building new technology, new detectors like the Gold Monster 2000, you'd be waiting years and years and years. So we're not focused at the moment at bringing out new coils. That's why we partner with people like Coiltech and Nugget Finder and leave that up to them. So the short answer is no.
No. Okay.
No. So we feel that we've got a pretty good spread at the moment with the 11 and the 14 and the 17. But yeah, our focus now is working on technology and making things like the little Gold Monster 2000. So.
Yeah, look, with the 6000, I use the standard coil. You know, myself, like I hear everything that the others can hear. Like I said, it's not the machine, it's the operator.
That's right. Yeah, and you know, we build coils to suit everything that we put inside these metal detectors. So you know, we don't just throw a number into a hat and then draw one out and say that's a coil we're going to build. We'll build a coil specifically for the actual technology.
I know the aftermarket coils. The sound is sharper and a bit louder, but I can still hear it. But it's just a bit softer. But it depends on your hearing. You know.
Yeah, and everyone's got a preference. You know, we can't win them all. You know, some people like an elliptical coil. Some people like a larger coil. You know, small, large. It really depends on where you're using the machine too.
And people say, "Oh, what's the better brand?" It's like Ford and Holden. You're not going to please everyone.
Yes, that's right. Exactly.
You find gold with a certain coil, and that's your favourite.
And that's
coil.
what you stick with. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. What's this? We know how to find wedding rings.
Don't we, Darren?
We do. How you going, Jude and Bob? These guys were on a tour once, and I remember lost the wedding ring, and we spent ages trying to find it, and then I think we'd given up, and it was near the edge of the tent, near the steel. As we packed up the tent, we found it.
How lucky is that?
But spent a bit of time time looking for it, but we got there.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Any more questions? No, that's it.
Awesome.
Okay. Thanks for sharing this detector, Brad. The Gold Monster 2000.
Yeah.
Can't wait to have more of a.
We've got to put it through its paces.
We do. My oath.
We have to. We have to make sure it's good and it's again, Minelab trying to push the limits, you know, especially with the new technology.
Yeah.
Multi-AU. So.
Well, like you said, you're not following anyone. You are.
We create.
Yeah.
We create, and we're always pushing the envelope. So.
Yeah. So,
but no, thank you guys for having me out here. It's great. I'm having a ball. So I'm sure I'll go home a bit more orange and hopefully I don't look like Donald Trump. But
yeah, that's it. Okay then. Thanks for watching the show tonight. And we'll catch you next Tuesday night, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
See you next Tuesday.
Okay. See you guys.
See ya.